It is, I have to say, a conspiracy on a very, very large scale. And it unites some oddly disparate groups, because on the one hand, you've got the yogurt-weaving eco-loons, the green activists, who have found themselves in this weird, unholy alliance with big oil, big banks, Rothschilds, Goldman Sachs, in alliance with the technocrats of the European Union, in alliance with scientists at various government-funded institutions. It's a very strange and broad coalition campaigning for this.
Well, the communists always work for the banks. In every case, we find that, because the big banks don't want freedom. In many cases, they want monopolies, and a gang of machine gun-toting hippies can deliver it. We'll be right back with our guest. Stay with us. JamesDelingpole.com, that's his website, best-selling author on Obamaland, with us for the rest of the hour as we chronicle all of the fraud coming out and the fact that they're now capitulating because they know the stonewalling has backfired on them. Now they're saying, yes, we did make it more severe than it is to convince you that you need to be saved by us, but it still is bad. And I've got quote after quote where they're basically saying that, and it's coming out that Al Gore is making all this money. The Rothschilds own one of the big carbon trading scams. Pachari's hooked up with all of them. Another IPCC scientist reveals how UN scientists talked about trying to make the IPCC report so dramatic that the U.S. would just have to sign Kyoto Protocol. That's in mainstream news. Even CNN's reporting that. The BBC's having to admit that there's problems. I mean, they wouldn't report on ClimateGate for, 3 weeks after it broke?
That's right. Yeah, I think what you're going to see happening next, Alex, is that there's going to be a period of retrenchment where all the warmists suddenly say, okay, hands up, we admit there may have been a few mistakes. And you know what they're going to do next? They will chuck Pachari off the back of the sledge to the wolves. And they will hope that while the wolves devour Pachari, the sledge can move on through the snow and they'll escape. It ain't going to happen. We wolves aren't going to allow it to happen.
Same thing on Bankergate with Geithner and Bernanke. There's no way they're getting out of this now.
Well, I would sincerely hope not. I mean, these are bad guys doing bad
But that's what I
things.
mean. Chunking them overboard isn't going to be enough. I mean, people are really starting to get it.
Yeah, Alex, I think something incredible is going on right now. I mean, I really feel like we're part of a really exciting movement. We are storming the Bastille. The Berlin Wall is coming down, and we, the people, are definitely winning against the forces of darkness. But having said that, although it is an exciting revolutionary moment, and it's really great to be part of this wonderful popular uprising, which incidentally is supported by the U.S. opinion polls. If you've seen the latest Pew opinion survey, which shows that Americans are less interested than ever in the idea of man-made global warming. They just don't believe it anymore. They think the whole thing stinks. So the people are on side. But unfortunately, what you have is government, you have big oil, you have a lot of the big capitalist companies, you have the European technocrats, you have
But see, James, that shows the hoax. Almost all of big oil has been aligned for over a decade because they're controlled by the big banks. They want this new derivative scam.
Oh, absolutely. The world economy has gone to pot. They need a new revenue stream. What better than to invent this wonderful new thing, which is the emperor's new clothes of global trading, and that is carbon trading. It is trading thin air. It's Enron economics.
Well, I want to talk about that when we come back, but when I first talked to you off air, you used the analogy of the Battle of the Bulge.
I'm afraid so. I think we can't talk enough about Hitler where the Green Movement is concerned, because, of course, the Nazis were the first Greens, really. And I think that what's going to happen next is that we're going to get our Battle of the Bulge moment, where the bad guys start coming back at us in force, surprising. We think we've won, but no, they've got a lot more up their sleeve just yet.
So how do you see this unfolding? I mean, they're already launching new things. The ocean's going to turn into pure acid.
Well, so many, that will definitely be one of their, I reckon that little by little they will start abandoning the global warming lie, and they will move on to something else. They will, because it's obviously very important for them to portray carbon dioxide as the bad guy in all this. The fact is that carbon dioxide is plant food. Plants grow more easily the more carbon dioxide there is in the atmosphere, and that's why when you get industrial farming, you get these greenhouses pumped with considerably greater quantities of CO2 than we have in our atmosphere right now. If they can't show that carbon dioxide is causing global warming, how do they still go on painting it as the bad guy? Well, their next move is to talk about ocean acidification. That it causes ocean acidification, and this is going to be a massive disaster for our seas. Now,
and that's another trick, because the ocean is acid; it's carbolic.
Yes. Well, also what you find is that the ecosystem deals with this sort of problem quite naturally. It's not going to create ecological disaster. But keeping up with these guys, with these slippery, it's like trying to wrestle an eel covered in mud. I mean, how do you do it? How do you keep up with these new factoids that keep being produced by the warmists?
Stay there. Let's continue to break that down. Let's get into some of the other scandals. Recap the criminal investigations with ClimateGate, Copenhagen falling apart, what Prince Charles is up to. It's all coming up with our guest, James Delingpole. I'm Alex Jones, Infowars.com.